Brandon Routh, the Superman who came full circle. He once bore the weight of a legend on his shoulders. Years later, he would return not to reclaim a throne, but to remind us why he deserved it in the first place. This is the story of Brandon Routh, the Superman who came full circle. In 2006, nearly 2 decades after Christopher Reeve last donned the cape, a new face stepped into the iconic red and blue. Brandon Routh, a relatively unknown actor from Iowa, was cast as the Man of Steel in Superman Returns, a film envisioned not as a reboot, but a reverent continuation of the Richard Donner legacy. At just 26 years old, Routh was selected by director Bryan Singer not only for his striking resemblance to Reeve, but for the humble, earnest qualities he radiated, both on and off screen. Singer, a lifelong Superman fan himself, was adamant this version of Superman had to feel like a continuation of the myth, not a reinvention. Routh's Superman was contemplative, soft-spoken, and emotionally restrained, a lonely god returning to a world that had moved on. The film leaned heavily into nostalgia, from the orchestral echoes of John Williams' classic score to the meticulous recreation of Reeve-era aesthetics. Yet at its core, Superman Returns was about longing, legacy, and sacrifice. Despite mixed critical reception and a polarizing box office return, one element was almost universally praised: Brandon Routh's performance. He wasn't trying to be Reeve, he was honoring him. Channeling the late actor's spirit, he brought a gentle humanity to Superman and a quiet tragedy to Clark Kent. As Routh himself once said, "I wasn't trying to step into Chris's boots, I was trying to honor them." He made the role iconic, but I just wanted to bring truth to it, to show the loneliness, the hope, and the responsibility that come with being Superman. Behind the scenes, Routh endured an immense amount of pressure. Comparisons to Reeve were inevitable. Fan expectations were sky high, and after Superman Returns failed to ignite a new franchise, his journey with the character appeared abruptly over. But Superman was not finished with Brandon Routh. More than a decade later, in 2019, fate, or perhaps poetic justice, offered Routh one more flight, this time not as a young Superman with the weight of expectation, but as an older, warier version of the hero. Kingdom Come Superman, within the CW's multiverse-spanning crossover, Crisis on Infinite Earths. It was more than fan service. It was closure. The Kingdom Come Superman, a character born from tragedy and loss, with a cracked but resilient spirit, was the perfect evolution of Routh's original portrayal. Wearing a suit inspired by Alex Ross's iconic artwork, Routh played this older Superman with quiet nobility, tempered by years of grief. The death of Lois Lane and his colleagues at the Daily Planet had left scars, but not bitterness. He remained, at his core, a symbol of hope. In one powerful monologue, his Superman reflects, "Even in the darkest times, hope cuts through. Hope is the light that lifts us out of darkness." These weren't just the words of a character, they were the words of an actor who had once been Superman, lost the role, and found his way back, not to reclaim his youth, but to redefine his legacy. Brandon Routh's portrayal stands apart in the Superman pantheon, where Henry Cavill's Kal-El wrestled with identity in a modern, morally gray world, and Tyler Hoechlin's Superman balances heroism with fatherhood. Routh's Superman was a meditation on memory and meaning. He played a god haunted by absence, but guided by compassion. Unlike other portrayals that emphasized action or angst, Routh gave us a Superman whose superpower wasn't just strength, it was quiet perseverance. His connection to Christopher Reeve remains a cornerstone of his performance, but his second outing proved something deeper. That Brandon Routh was never just a stand-in. He was and is a Superman in his own right. Though his appearances were few, the emotional resonance of Routh's Superman has lingered. He bridged generations. He gave voice to the idea that legacy isn't about being first, it's about enduring. His greatest contribution? Empathy. Routh reminded us that Superman's real strength lies not in flight or fists, but in faith. Faith in people. Faith in ideals. Faith that no matter how much time passes, truth and justice still matter. Brandon Routh may have come and gone in a flash of cape and nostalgia, but in doing so, He gave Superman something the character rarely gets: a second chance and a full circle.